these lovely young people who, through no fault of their own, they didn't make the decision to come here. They contribute so much to our military, to our teaching force in our country, to healthcare, all the rest. And the list goes on. Equal pay for equal work for women, Violence Against Women Act, the list goes on and on. Gun violence prevention, and the rest.
You talk a lot, though, about legislating and investigating as part of the priority. If I can finish my question.
No, wait a minute. Legislating, investigating, litigating. I want you to add the litigating.
Okay, the litigating, I'm glad you mentioned that, because one argument that people are making in your caucus is that opening up an impeachment inquiry would strengthen your case in court. So why are you against an impeachment inquiry?
Well, is that true?
Some people argue that.
I mean, it's not that. But we have to, that's a question to be asked. If you open an impeachment inquiry, do you get more information? You still end up in the court. So if you want to go down that path, and I'm glad you asked that question. So if you want to talk about that, I thought we were talking about and reducing the.
No, we'll get there.
But in any event, this is very important to our country as to who we are. We have a situation where the Russians, by all accounts, with full confidence of our intelligence community, made an assault on our election, an attack on our democracy. The President of the United States calls it a hoax. The President of the United States sides with Putin and not with our intelligence. We must pass legislation to make sure they cannot do it again. And according to the FBI, 24/7, they are working to do it again. So we have to protect our democracy with what we do. And at the same time, we have to see what happened in all of that. And the question, and that's a good question that you asked, Manu, do you get more information by having an inquiry than if you just have investigations? Well, I don't have a straight answer on that, but even if you could, you can't do it without going to the courts. And I maintain that to go to the courts, we have to have the strongest possible case, ironclad. We've won in the courts on the couple of the things that Mr. Cummings has put forth. Mazur, the president's accounting firm, they should release their documents. On the Deutsche Bank, Maxine Waters case, we won that case in court. Of course, they'll appeal because they want to obstruct the American people from having the truth. So the question you ask, do we get more by having an inquiry? Some say yes, some say no.
If a majority of your caucus wants to go forward with an impeachment inquiry, would you go for it?
It's not even close in our caucus about
But eventually,
well, you know what? Why are we speculating on hypotheticals? What we're doing is winning in court. We won a victory getting the documents from the Justice Department today for fear of further going to court, although we're still going to hold the Attorney General in contempt today. And then the path that we're on is a path that I think, look, I want to tell you something.
You said you're not on a path
nothing as divisive in our country, on my view, than impeachment. Our founders gave us so much to be grateful for. They were a blessing intellectually in values and all the rest. Thank God they made our Constitution amendable. They had that wisdom as well. But they gave us guidance in this way. They said, e pluribus unum, from many one. They couldn't imagine how many we would become or how different we would be from each other, but they knew we had to be one. So we're trying to make decisions as we go forth that are unifying, not dividing.
Because
infrastructure, the president says he wants to do that. Lowering the cost of prescription drugs, the president says he wants to do that. Cleaner government, not so sure about that. But nonetheless, it is part of our agenda. And as we do that, we try to find as much common ground as possible while maintaining the boldest common denominator. Impeachment, if you're going down that path, you don't go to court with your weakest case as long as you keep getting more information to build your case.
Jerry Nadler
you
said
have a responsibility to do that.
Last week, Jerry Nadler said that impeachment inquiry. It may come to that. You've said in the past you're not on that path to impeachment. Are you still? How do you reconcile those?
But it's not off the table. You can't. I don't think you should impeach for political reasons, and I don't think you should not impeach for political reasons. It's not about politics. It's not about Democrats and Republicans. It's not about partisanship. It's about patriotism to our country. It's upholding the Constitution of the United States. If, in fact, the executive branch can say, you can never have oversight over us, you have destroyed the system of checks and balances, which is the wisdom and the heart of our Constitution. And if you go down that path and you look to the Bill of Rights and the assaults that they make on the press, etc., then you are undermining the Constitution, not honoring your oath of office to support and defend. And part of all of that is, again, our responsibility, our oath of office. And what is appalling is the lack of respect for the oath of office that the Republicans in Congress, in the House, and in the Senate have for their own oath of office.